Hey guys, a lot of people have been asking me for a Jigglypuff guide for a while, since my last one was about a yearish ago, and Puff has changed a lot with buffs. You know, just like this character's been optimized to a really weird level. So I'd like to show all the new tech that this character has gotten. So this is a beginner's guide to help out a lot of the new Puff players, or a lot of just Puff players that are trying to learn and improve. I'm going to be going over the basics on how to start out by giving you the proper things to do when starting out with the character. Now, the first thing I will say is that a lot of Puffs need to just get used to doing Dare in neutral. Dare in neutral is very good, because you get used to doing these things, called Dare loops, that are very important. You need to learn how the drift works and how to like mess with your airspeed. When you're handling your airspeed, it's very, very important. Airspeed is huge when you're playing Jigglypuff because she's kind of an air character. She has some of the best air acceleration, the best airspeed, etc., etc. Very, very nice to have. That is the big thing of Dare. It is also auto-cancelable and you can drift it forever. For example, I could do this. Let's say Rob's holding shield. Right here, I could just drift, and now Rob can't hit me if I time it right, etc., etc. It also throws off parry timings if someone's trying to do a parry. If someone's trying to parry your Fair and Nair, you can just do a Dare. And as I said before, using Dare makes it way easier for you to learn how to Dare loops if you're so used to moving around with it. Of course, this doesn't mean to spam it, but you can get really good hits off this. Example is, we'll say Rob. You can get like 0 to 60s, even with really good SDI. And on fast followers, you can get a nice little Dare loop. Alright, so with fast followers, we'll say you can just do Dare Dare. And this stuff's easy. This stuff is very, very, very easy when they don't know how to SDI. We'll be talking about SDI later, but yeah, these things are very, very important to know. With floaties, you can actually get the same thing, but you can get something called a pivot land rest, which I'll be going over later. That is known as a pivot land rest. And TLDR on Dare is that you need to be doing all of these setups, and you have to be learning a lot of like the down air setups. It's very, very important for you to level to get to the next level of Jigglypuff. Because if you're not doing a lot of this, then you're not using some of your best toolkits as a character. The next thing I'd like to go over is a move. It's one of my favorites. It's called forward throw. It's one of the stupidest grabs in the game due to how Puff combos. A lot of people don't like Puff usually combos to the edge of the stage. Like Puff can just do this, and then boom, grab. And the thing about that is that this leads to a grab called forward throw, which sends at a very stupid angle that can cover a lot of options. And for example, against Ganon, I get this, dead. It does not matter what you do. There are mix-ups, but Puff can always react, and this isn't just on a character like Ganon. But we're just gonna do a tether example. We're gonna do a character that I consider favorite in the matchup. I consider Puff to beat Min Min pretty bad. And the only reason why it's this bad is because of this move, forward throw alone. Forward throw is a move that can combo at literally 10%. At 0, you can even get it if they don't expect it, but you can just do this. And then, this covers every option. That's not a joke, this covers every option if you sit right here. Sure, Min Min can mix up, but you can react to it. And if there's counterplay, the counterplay is them hoping you mess up. Just like that. You can do basic flowcharts like this with almost any character in the cast, which is why I think a lot of matchups are easier than they think. Because the fear of being able to kill someone at 10 is gigantic. This is even good against characters like Ike. With Ike, you can just do a nice little grab, you cover jump, and then due to their airspeed, they're just dead. If you want to, I don't really have me sets versus Ike in the now, but you know what I mean. You can watch me versus any sort of sorties. The common flowchart, my little unspoken rule, that I mean, you can watch me and know, this isn't some secret thing, is that I cover this part first. If you cover the high part first, Puff's is able to be fast enough to where you can just come down here and you get a nice Nair. There's counterplay to this, which is why you don't always go to the top first, but it's a good little rule you can have at the start of when you're edgeguarding. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable, you always have ledge trapping, and Puff has this move for ledge trapping that we'll go over later. You will have to accept that when you get a forward throw, I mean, you still have to go off stage, so be confident in your off stage pressure. Alright, now we're going to be going over pivot landing. Pivot landing is basically this. Now you might be thinking, what is that? How do you do it? Well, I'll be honest, I'm actually really bad at explaining it, so I will be having a YouTube video that I know is very, very good. I'm not sure which one, but you'll see it in the description. What you do is that you basically turn around right when you land. So let's say I'm jumping. Right when you land, you immediately flick the stick the other direction. So that way, whoop. This is good with pivot, with dare, with reverse dares. So you can immediately have more direction when you do. And you can get more stuff, etc., etc. You can pivot land into literally anything. If you're right here, grab. Into things you wouldn't expect it. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah. It just makes, like, it makes Puff a lot more, like, harder to, like, punish. Or, like, a lot harder to track. Because if this character is moving around literally everywhere, it's a lot harder to microspace and, like, play neutral with this character if you don't know where she's actually gonna be. Let's say pivot land grab, pivot land up tilt, pivot land tilt, etc., etc. A move I don't like talking about much because I don't think it's that great is Pound. Pound, it's a pretty safe move. I believe it's -11 at worst, and it can be plus at best. But the way you want to use Pound is that you want to make it a matchup check move. You want to see, if they don't know how to deal with it, then do this all you want. Spam this move forever. Do everything in your power to spam it. No, I'm kidding. Just, you can use it just a little bit more. But if they know the matchup, you want to use it sparingly and more carefully. Because people are just going to be waiting for you to do it the entire game. And then you're going to get punished, and then you're going to complain about it. Because you got punished for using a move that's like this. Oh, there's, like, this characters have disjoints. You can't just spam Pound. It does lead into a lot of pretty cool setups, though. A lot of cool strings, and sometimes it's just true combos. For example, at 6%, you can just do this. That's pretty cool. Cool and awesome. But you can't always do the situations if the opponent knows you're going to go for it. Especially since it's so telegraphed. Look at how much I have to go. That's a crazy commitment. Because I'm short hopping, the opponent's already going to be drifting back. So you want to be a little bit careful. It can set up into combos I said before, but yeah. It'll set up into literally anything you want. Now the next thing we're going to be talking about is edgeguarding with Nair and Fair. Now, I'm known as a pretty good edgeguarder, so I can safely say I know what I'm talking about.
Backboard.
Oh, what?
Oh, it's not over for you.
You thought it was my disadvantage? It's our disadvantage!
Now, we'll say you get a forward throw and you don't know how to get an aerial. This move Nair that I just did is how it lasts for 24 frames from what I know. Active from the normal strong hitbox is active for 2 frames on 6 of 7, and the next ones are active from 8 to 30, which is very, very big. And you want to use that to your advantage. For example, let's say Luigi goes low. You can just cover it like that. This whole space off stage is yours. This is your space that you control. You can just, for like 10 seconds, you can just do this forever. And there's nothing almost any character can do about it. Now, another thing you can do in certain matchups, we'll say Fox, if Fox does an illusion, or if, let's say, Luigi has a green missile, and you catch it, you can do a forward air to catch it. Or you can use Fair and Air to trade. Let's say you're Fox, and you're trying to get an aerial, you're trying to edgeguard Fox. You can just do these situations and trade, because they're active for so long. Whereas, I guess that's not a great example, because Fox lit, but you can get what I mean. You can use situations like that to trade with your opponents, you can do that. A good example I've done is me versus Kurama. So when Puff does an aerial, it'll trade with Mario's up B, and it sends Mario to a not great angle, so he just can't make it back.
Like soft Nair into up smash. We're gonna see more of those kind of conversions against these floatier characters.
Oh wow, what a trade off the Nair.
And you can do this to a lot of characters' recoveries. You can watch my videos, you can watch other Jigglypuffs, or you've probably done it for yourself. You want to be able to abuse these things and make people scared to go anywhere on the stage. Because they go high, you cover it, you go low, they cover it. And that's just how Puff works. I mean, she's an edgeguard character. So you want to use her long-lasting aerials to cover it. Soft forward air can convert into Nair on a lot of the casts, and you can just do a normal Nair just to, catch people. The other thing you can do, I'll show it on K-Rool as an example. There it is. So basically, you can do a reverse Nair bear, and it's a lot easier than I made it look. It is a lot easier than I made it look. I promise you that. You can do this, and if you catch them, they are just dead. There's nothing they can do, and on characters that are, say, at like lower percents, you can do Nair, bear, Nair, because bear turns around, and it's cool. Or you can just do Nair combos, like you can actually do like soft Nair and Fair setups, and stuff like that. You can also just, like I said as before, you can still force 50-50 situations. By 50-50 situations, I mean that they have to guess right in order to make it back. And if they guess wrong, then they just die. Now, what I do want to talk about is, I think this is going to be, I'm trying to explain this. I'm actually streaming on Twitch, but I'm not really focusing on chat at all, so they won't see this, but for you guys, there's something called SDI for Down Air that is very important, that a lot of people Puffs forget about because at low level, people don't SDI Puff combos. So this is kind of like exposing it's kind of exposing some Puff secrets, but that's okay to me. We'll do that. So basically, in terms of SDI, we'll just do this. Your goal is to SDI up and in or up and away. Of course, you can still you can still catch people, but it's going to be much harder. I'll show something above, hopefully Zaaq does it. It's Mudace versus Smash Puff, where Mudace literally just SDI'd up and got out of drill rest.
Mix this man. Okay, serve it.
Which goes to my next point, don't make your game plan based on drill rest. It's not worth it and you will just stagnate your gameplay. I hate to say it, but if you watch HBox and you think drill rest is amazing, it isn't. At top level, that move is not hitting. Unless you catch them very, very, very off guard. Because they can always just escape. By SDI up away, SDI up in, or they can just air dodge out if they SDI it. I always tell people to play it safe to SDI up and away and air dodge, but sometimes you don't even need to air dodge, you just escape. And a lot of players don't do that yet, but eventually, like, people are gonna know more about Puff and they're gonna learn how to SDI your combos. So you gotta get ready for that. But you can also, like I said, the way that you deal with SDI is simply by reacting. You can see exactly where they're gonna be. We'll say with the CPU. You can react to the SDI by just looking at it. Of course, sometimes they will just fall out, but you can still attempt to catch it. And you can still get combos from it, which is cool. I've done this in bracket multiple times where everyone SDIs versus me, so I do know that it works. At least to me. And say you can't get Joe Rest, you can still go for Joe Grab setups and stuff like that. Next move I'm going to talk about is a move that a lot of people like to call broken, but it's kind of just a different way. I view Sing in a different way because you can't view Sing as a move that just auto works, because it doesn't. It doesn't auto work. It's a frame 27 move that has 3 waves. So how Sing works, we're going to put it on like a little bit half speed just in case. But how it works is that when her arms are out, that's when the move hitbox is active. You see when Puff's arms are out, that's when the move's active. I played with Jazo, a Ken player, and he literally held shield and then let go of it because that's how not active the hitbox is. And people don't know that, and people will not know this because who would know this? Who's gonna know about this visual cue except the people that are here and Jazo? So yeah. Now to be fair, these things still work. I'm just doing it on Donkey Kong because it's 500 times easier. But these sing subs can still work on any character, especially with pound sing, up air sing, up tilt sing, etc, etc, etc. You can still get these setups. I've gotten them versus Tweak.
Some of these potential like scenarios that he put him in the step play. There he is, right on cue.
And like on platforms, you can get IDJ up air to rest. It's pretty hard, so I wouldn't recommend going for it when you first start picking up Puff, but it's there. Jab lock sing. So for this setup, jab lock sing, it's very, very good. It's one of the best jab lock punishes in the game for sure. Even if you can match out in time, it's still very, very good. But the other thing that people need to remember is you can double jab lock. By buffering the crouch, you can do a double jab lock, and it's pretty cool. You just buffer it. If they're too far away, they might escape it, so if you notice that, just go for a single jab. The next move I'll be going over is back air. Back air is a frame 10 startup, and it's -3 on shield, which means that a lot of characters can't punish it if it's space. And even if it's not space, you can just do this over and over and over. And there's nothing a lot of characters can just really do about it. I mean, of course you can still punish it, but it's a lot harder than it used to be. The other thing about back air is that there's a strong hitbox. You can notice it because I think I can just, yeah, I just did it. You can notice that there's a strong hitbox. It's very, very small, but it's there. And if you get good at getting it, a lot of characters are going to be dying a lot earlier than the normal back air hitbox. It doesn't show it on frame data, but I just proved it right now that it's there. It's just very, very hard to hit. You can get setups like back air fair nair. It's pretty cool. You can get back air up tilt stuff due to the patch, or even back air rest on heavies. But the best part of this move is something that I actually don't do yet. So you can do something called IRAR bear that a lot of puffs that aren't me use. Or you can do like down air, IRAR back air into fair nair, and it's just a kill setup at 30%. One day I'll learn it, but for now I won't. The hitbox, as I said, the strong hitbox is super into Puff. See, that's far away. And that's the strong hit. The IRAR bear is something that if like in the future, if more Puffs use, no one is gonna want to deal with Puff in neutral because Puff's gonna have so many mix-ups. The next thing I'm gonna go over is tilts and smash attacks, and the other grabs that aren't for it though. So the first move I'm gonna go over is down tilt. It's very useless. You can 2-frame, but that's about it. And maybe get a cheese kill on Cloud or people who recover. Yeah, it's more so of a cheese move. You're never really gonna get anything. Up tilt is -6 and can kill at pretty weird percents. We'll say 120. It might not even kill at 120, but with Rage, it'll start killing it around then, I believe. F tilt is -6, but as I said before, F tilt pound can shield break at times, or you can just be a good shield poking move since it's a little bit hard to hit. The next throw I'll talk about is up throw. It's useless except for smash art shulk. You should test it yourself. It is pretty funny.
And the up throw is gonna seal with the.
I'll say that all of Puff's smash attacks are pretty useless. Up smash is just a basic anti-air and it doesn't even hit sleeping opponents. And forward smash is just a basic forward smash and there's nothing too special to it. Don't spam it, it's pretty laggy, but if the opponent is sleeping, you can use it like that. The thing I'll start talking about right now is down smash. Down smash is an interesting move because at 84, it does that. But at 40, it'll do something like this. where it sends at a very, very, very stupid angle. So how I found out how this move works is that it's weight dependent for how you get this angle. Usually you want to not charge it, but on like if you know the weight like perfectly, then you can charge it a little bit and get this crazy angle. We'll say 50 or lower. If the opponent's at higher percent, then don't charge the down smash. We'll say like 50, don't charge it. But at 30, you can charge it like this, and the opponent just dies. A lot of characters' recoveries just can't make it back. The last move I'm gonna go over is Jab 1 and Jab 2. They're both -7, so they're pretty safe to use on people's shield. With this patch, Jab can now come with a dash attack without them being in tumble way easier. And even if they are in tumble, it's very hard to tech, and the only way to get out of it is by teching in. Teching into Puff, which is what no one wants to do. And it's already a hard move to tech in the first place. Like I said, that wasn't true there, but you can see the concept. You can just do down air, fair, jab, dash, tech. I did this versus Tilde.
Had to wait all the way till the end of the down air and try to jump at the very end. But you can't wait the entire time.
I think in the future, this will be Puff's second or third best move. And also a cool fact, if you jab and they're in tumble by the ledge, you can get a jab roll, and they can only get up attack to escape, or just tech immediately. It's a cool setup. Cool niche, not really good setup, but you can try it. So yeah, that's my Puff guide. If anyone has any questions, let me know. And peace.